All right, welcome back. Episode 68 of the Young Old Heads podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tommy, aka TV Sports Cards, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host Max, aka Cards Max, aka Cards Max Halloween Edition. Max, how you doing?
Feeling spooky today. We have a blue fractor set of emotions going on this podcast. Lots of update parallels. We're not just stopping at frozen fractors, we're going to Halloween fractors. I don't even know the specific names of them, but Michael Rubin is getting us galvanized.
And yet another move by Topps. Max alluded to the fact that in 2023, Topps update was just recently released, and we hit on the fact that they lowered the hobby box packs to 20 last week, but it came out that in the blaster boxes, there's these Halloween parallels that are special edition blaster update edition stuff. And I have thoughts on it, Max. Do you have any thoughts though before I go on my little rant about it?
I'm usually very active in saying that innovation is good for the hobby, but I think we're teetering a very fine line right here.
And I agree. Um, my thought is just keep the shit out of update. We have this Topps holiday release that they've been doing for 5+ years now. Just expand the holiday edition. Just make it, instead of only having Christmas related SSPs and SPs, throw in some jack-o'-lantern shit, throw in some Valentine's Day, throw in all the holidays. Like, go wild, go buck wild with Topps holiday edition. Keep it out of my update. I love update. People know I've been ripping updates since it was Topps traded. Like, that's deep for me. But Topps holiday edition has a lot of room for growth. They've only ever really focused on Christmas. I think that's kind of ridiculous. I think that they could totally expand it to other things. These Halloween parallels that they got in update, those should be in Topps holiday. What do you think about that, Max?
I've been doing a lot of research on marketing lately, and I've been eating a lot of Mr. Beast bars, who obviously is a marketing genius. And I think from Fanatics' perspective, they want to get as much exposure to people who like things. Okay. And it sounds crazy, but a lot of people in the United States or even globally are able to say, oh, this is Halloween. This is cool. They're not able to say, oh, wow, I can personally relate to this snow camo parallel to the time of year it is, because that's just not something that's relevant. That being said, there is a respect that needs to be maintained for our true flagship parallels. This might be controversial, but what is the necessity of having Independence Day parallels? What does Independence Day have to do with baseball cards? Hello? Question mark. And you can extend that with frozen fractors and taco
Mother's
fractors.
Day. They officially
Mother's
named.
Day, Father's Day. What does this have to do with my baseball cards? What happened to our true black and gold parallels? So I respect expansion. I think expansion can be done well. In 2016 and 2017, you have to recognize that we had a full revamp to what our parallels were. We were going from diamond and gold foil and emerald foil and red hot foils from the 2011s to the 2014s to just smack dabbing making it a rainbow foil from 2015 on, a very ugly, worthless materialistically and monetarily rainbow foil. And that became so we are able to innovate and change, but at the same time, we are disrespecting our true colors. And yes, while we're attributing Mother's Day and Father's Day and Independence Day, what about other countries? But we're doing this to the disrespect of our parallels, and taking this to the boo fractor is just doing that even further.
Yeah, that's a classic Max rant. I think an OG Cards Max thought on this podcast was about the rainbow foils being so trash, and obviously I agree with you there. But in general, I think there's a lot of people who love holidays. They like really, identify their personalities with certain holidays like Halloween. People go buck wild decorating their houses. I think people are down to collect Halloween themed cards. I think that we just need to put them in the right place, and Topps update blaster boxes is not the right place.
I agree in that, like, there's a disrespect that we can have towards Topps Total and the 990 card checklist that it used to have. And while it was a more bland release, you can have that sort of parallel breadth in a release that is meant to be atypical from the traditional flagship. That's why we have Topps Mini as distinct. That's why we have Topps 3D as distinct. That's why we have Topps Holiday as distinct. And while I do think the flagship design is sacred, doing derivative products of it is something that Topps has already done and that Topps has done successfully. And it satiates the crazy rainbow collectors like myself sometimes, who is still chasing his 2019 Luis Severino rainbow. But at the end of the day, don't disrespect the flagship brand. Don't.
Exactly. And me personally, I'm hyped about Update. Most hyped I've been about Update in a long time because we got, the Giants have a couple good rookies in it. We got Casey Schmidt, we got Patrick Bailey, two guys that I'm hyped to collect. I am not going to be collecting these Halloween parallels, but good on anyone who is. Let's just try to get them in the right product. But Max, I know you were at a card show. Enough with this bullshit. I know you were at a card show last
One
weekend.
last thing I want to say before you channel. No. High five. No stop sign. High five. But I know this is a pro top. Tommy, can we agree that this is a pro Taco Fractor podcast? Or is this a Taco Fractor questioning podcast at the very
At
least?
the very least,
Not a
we are
Taco Fractor rejecting podcast.
Yeah, at the very worst, we're neutral on Taco Fractors. At the very worst.
At the very least, we're neutral at Taco Fractors. Taco Fractors don't have the flagship parallel of the player. Why are people getting so crazy over an insert? The Frozen Fractor? Okay. Flagship design, serial number to maybe -5 degrees or fewer. So you may even have -2 degrees. But Taco Fractors are an insert. Why are you getting mad over a contest? Tacos for Life might be misleading. I think Ruben and the gang and the group has been misattributing the hype towards the Taco Fractor as just making it be some big contest, and that let down people and collectors who were saying, I've granted that's speculative gambling, and that kind of plays stupid games and stupid factories. Play stupid games, win stupid refractors. But the Taco Fractor isn't a parallel. It's just an insert. So if you're grinding your Oswaldo Cabrera 2023 Topps rookie rainbow, you don't need a Taco Fractor. It's an insert.
Clip it. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm tired of people conflating the radiating rookies and the Taco Fractors with actual parallels and refractors. Those are totally different things. I think people, I don't know, maybe I'm just a little drunk, Max, but it's pissing me off right now. It's pissing me the fuck off.
Rookies can at least be attributed to having the flagship design, even if it's a different image variation and it's a different checklist number. But imagine getting mad over like the Future Stars insert.
I couldn't imagine that. Max, Are you done with your rant about this? I also wasn't putting up the stop sign to you. I was more giving you the okay, and I just didn't mean to,
High five, high 10.
High 10.
I went to a card show this weekend. I went to the Hofstra Card Show in Uniondale, Long Island, New York. Shame on me. I said in Uniondale, but on Long Island. So always never say in Long Island. Shame on you if you do. And it was a 2-day show. I saw a lot of friends, cardboard friends, real life friends. That's always fun. I rented my first rent-a-car. Tommy is a veteran 25-year-old, and I'm just Tommy, you're 25, right? Okay, not 26 yet. I am just a neophyte 24-year-old. So doing my first rent-a-car, I got slammed with the $92.56 young renter's fee because I'm not 25 yet. I'm still enjoying my youth. But yeah, enjoyed my rent-a-car, saw some friends, was very active during my 3 days and change I was there. I had very few deals during the card show. It was really just a matter of just buying stuff where the numbers made sense, trying to buy off vendors that I know well. It did cultivate some good discussion as to where the market was. I was speaking to one of my favorite Long Island local dealers. His name's John. He has no social media presence. And we were talking about what makes a good show versus a bad show. And he was saying how I think he has a certain benchmark that he makes in Hofstra, and he has a certain benchmark that he'll make in Philly. And that in terms of commerce, from the commerce standpoint, again, I don't want to drop numbers, especially since I did, say his name just now. But I think compared to my point being, compared to the general modern dealer who might be doing like genuinely like high five figures, maybe even six figures in commerce in a single Dallas show, it just gave me a perspective that and again, even through speaking with him, that the vintage marketplace is more so just about buying and selling to your routine clients that show up to your booth in person. The online presence only matters if you make it an online presence. And if you have your guys that are doing a full 520 T206 set, they are going to just come and see if they have your commons and then walk off. Sure, you have some sharks that are going to try to flip based off eye appeal and flip based off how strong you are off comps. But he was even saying how now more than ever, you have to, even as a vintage dealer, you have to pay a little bit stronger than you'd like, just because maybe, your walking flipper would buy at that price without blinking twice and is easier to access. So yeah, I have some mixed feelings on the Hofstra show in general. I have been no stranger to expressing them on this podcast. The group that owns them makes up one half of the group that has recently acquired the National. Some people will say, including my friend John, who is an older dealer, says that they're great at marketing. They get autograph guests. They get people in the door. My counter to that is they're going just to sign autographs. You're really just capitalizing on the local area, and you're not having people fly out. And if anything, the people that are flying out actively see these shows and are disinterested because of how much more commerce and activity and bartering happens at some of the more prominent shows. And that is, if anything, a sense of losing a grip on the market share of time. But my thesis being, we live in a world where it's adapt or die. There are very few people in the entire country that fly out to card shows specifically to make money. And I am very grateful that I am at this point where I get to be one of them. So I am not the center of attention. I am a very small percentage of the people that goes to shows. That being said, the way shows are marketed and grow affect all of us. And I want the best to 10x the hobby.
Exactly. I got a lot of thoughts on what you were saying. I mean, I know that most dealers that make a show good, at least a local show, aren't on social media. They don't give a fuck if Roth cards or whatever. I actually like Roth cards, but just
I
like
thought
that type of person is, who's coming to the show. They don't give a fuck if Dr. Collectible is coming to the show or whatever and blowing and trying to promote it. It's all about, these guys that come to their table, know what to buy. They buy it, spend $50 with them every show that they have. They buy the same cards. They source cards for those guys. They curate their shit for those people they expect. They aren't expecting to make the 5-6 figures that a Dallas show guy is expecting to make. And it's kind of up to the showrunners to curate that show for them and make them want to come back every time. I'm sure our friend Delco Alex will have thoughts on that since he is running like a local show as well in Philly. But Max, the people come here to hear about your negotiating deals. They love our thoughts on card shows, but they really love when you have beef with dealers, when you have funny interactions. Did you
I
have
will,
any funny interactions?
to your disdain, these are dealers that I mostly know and interact with, and they know what I can make use of and what maybe I can't make use of or whatever. And this is just in terms of like, again, I think being well rounded is great. Having your specializations are great. I am no better or no more equal than anyone else, but baseball, specifically modern baseball, will always be my evergreen sport. And I will always look at nice higher end baseball and be interested in it, and etc. So if anything, that's my niche in a world where I am trying to grow as much as possible and just be the best at cards on the entire planet. But I do have something that's a little funny. I was talking with a dealer who I knew, who we see each other, we say hi. I'm not too interpersonally close with them, but they have a great guy. They have a shop in Long Island. But I saw a SGC 2.5 Mickey Mantle in their display case. It was in 1956 tops. So that was the year. 1956 tops, SEC 2.5. And he's like, hey, I'm like, hey, what's your ask? And he's like, how I can deal, just make an offer and I'll try to be fair and you can see what we can do. And
Max is coughing. I'm extremely excited to hear about what's going on here. 1956 tops, SGC 2.5. You spot it in a case. What happens?
yeah, that was an extremely vigorous cough. Hello, producer editing section. But anyway, yeah, I see this 1956 tops Mickey Man. He's making an offer on it. I'll be easy to work with. Like, just we're gonna base it off comps, whatever. And I'm like, usually the first thing that comes to my head is make me an offer is just an extreme red flag that I never want to deal with. 9 times out of 10, I will just, if it's online, I'll just say no, thank you. If it's in person, I will probably say no, thank you. Since it was someone that I have a history with and I try to be friendly with, I would have just been seen as outright disrespectful. And I'm a disrespectful person, but not to that extent. And he says, hey, I'm going to go buy something from another booth. Like, let me know. You look at comps. And I'm like, okay, great. So I'm looking at comps. I looked at VCP, which is vintage card prices. And it was something like SGC 2s were doing on average like 730. I think SGC 3s were doing about 1,000. SGC 2.5 sales were in between. And I'm not just bagging on the guy's card, but it was an extremely off center 2.5. Like, some cards are like, 70 to 30 in one direction, top bottom, 70 30 in the other. It's like, no, this card was like tilted to the entire like top right corner. Like, it was not a good looking 2.5, but like, I love 1956 mantles. They are a great card. And I'm thinking, okay. And again, of course, since it's a half grade, the half grade, so less frequently than the full integer grades for our math heads that know what integers are, which hopefully is a lot of you. But
That's the first time the word integer has ever been said on a podcast about sports cards. I appreciate it.
yeah, integers, these nuts. Anyway, SGC 3s do about 1,000. Okay, and they were happening frequently. Like, those were the most frequent comps. So I go up to him. So internally in my head, I'm thinking like, okay, if it were like an okay SGC 2.5, it'd be worth like 850-ish. It's like, it's really off center. It's like, it may be worth 750 on my best day. Maybe it's worth 800. And I offer him 650. I wasn't thinking of a percentage, but I'm thinking, okay, I can make a little bit here at 650. And he's like, oh no, we're so far off. I can just like put this at a Facebook group and get like 120% comps and a Raz. Like, dude, we're so far off. And I'm like, okay, what do we have in mind? He's like, yeah, like they comp for like 1,200 and it's like, I can do like 1175 on it. And I'm like maybe for you 11. And I'm like, okay, I'm showing him my card ladder. I'm like, okay, but like these are 3 SGC 3s right here that did like 1,000. It's like, okay, there's one SGC 2.5. There's an eye appeal sticker that a little higher. And then it's like, oh, here's all these sales that are much stronger. And I'm like, I'm thinking like, you're still above that. He's like, yeah, Manos move so easy. I don't need to be above, too much below comps on them. And I'm even thinking like genuinely, it's like, it wasn't a matter of like me trying to lowball. It was a matter of his valuation of it being like $400 higher than like my genuine good faith valuation was. Like I like for an off center card like that of a 2.5, again, not just bagging on the person's card, but in my head, I was thinking, okay, maybe and I'm someone who's guilty of overpaying and overvaluing. Maybe on its best day, it's an $800 card. So, and then I'm like, of course, the question comes back to my head. Hey, you got it. You buying any mails? If you're selling them for so high, might as well buy some from me, right? My smug little self. So it turns out almost all my vintage cards are in my PWCC vault, which I didn't realize. But I did know I had one with me. It was a 1953 Topps Mickey Mantle. Of course, it's Mickey Mantle. 1953 Topps PSA 1 Mickey Mantle. Gorgeously centered, sharp corners, paper loss on the cap, few creases that you can see under light. My eBay sticker was 2,500. I bought this from an auction house for $1,650 a few weeks ago for $1,650. And I go up to him and I'm like, hey, I'm asking $2,350 on this. and we're looking at comps, and he's like, "Oh, lasted 1,600 and 2,000 and whatever." And I'm like, "Yeah, this card is destroyed." I'm like, "Mine has the corners of like a 4. Mine is like 60-40 centering. All of these are like 70-30 and have, you know, when they have corners that are rounder than my brain. I mean, they do not have sharp corners." It's like above comps, blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Okay, fine. I appreciate you looking. Walk away. Still come up as friends at the end of the day." And then, so he was thesis being I was saying how I was lowball. He was saying how I was lowballing on his 1956 mantle. He was saying how I was trying to get over comps on mine, how I was unreasonably sticker priced. And then later that night, I am at a bar with a friend. I get a notification on eBay, and my 1953 PSA 1 Mickey Mantle is binned at full price for $2,500.
Let's go. That's classic. Fuck that dude. I hate this dude. He seems like a whatever. I'm not going to talk too much shit.
Yeah,
But I love that you got it, Ben. That's a classic Cards Max justification moment. The Cards Max tax, as we like to say here. Let's go, Max. Big dollars.
it's
That's a
great.
nice little.
It's great when you feel vindicated that you aren't overpriced. I know I get some whatever for having the max tax, but it's like I do genuinely believe in my cards, and it's not just out of hubris. It's because, well, if you want good eye appeal, you have to pay for it. Like that's how it works. I was looking at the sales history, and as of recording, it is October 17th of 2023, and I was the highest PSA 1 sale since May 29th, I want to say, for that PSA 1 1953 mantle. So again, a strong sale, but not like a crazy, biggest sale of all time. And it, in good faith, was a really nice looking mantle.
Nice. Well, did you buy any cards at the show, or did you just haggle with people?
I bought a card from John, the aforementioned vintage dealer. And again, it's funny because we were talking about, I don't think he was intending it as a sales pitch, but how he has to buy stronger than he usually does lately. And I bought an SGC. I mean, maybe I'll reveal the price on another podcast once I sell it. But I bought an SGC4 1956 Mickey Mantle from him.
Sick. That's
Yeah,
cool.
so the 1956 Topps Mickey Mantle has been the card of the show right now. I just sold my PSA 5 1956 Topps Mickey Mantle. So right now I presently own an SGC4 as well as a PSA 4.
Nice. Not as many cards. That's only one card. You literally bought one card, like no
I
value
bought
box
I bought some
thing.
like lamer cards. I bought a bunch of Mike Trout Topps Now autos. I bought like a Julio Rodriguez PSA 10 X Factor that I'm gonna squeeze like a $10 profit on. I bought a Sandy Koufax 2000 SP. I think it's Chronology is the insert set autograph. The thing is, I came to Hofstra expecting the vintage heavy hitters. I'm not just ragging on the show, but it's one that always disappoints. And going in as a flyout dealer also just hurt. Again, I was going for the friends and for seeing my people and enjoying my home that I've been at for 23 years. Long Island is my home. It will never not be. Tommy, I don't know how you feel about San Francisco, but
Well,
that's my
I'm
upbringing. Those are my stomping grounds.
yeah.
So there was an emotional aspect with that made me go there instead of the Nashville Card Show. That was also happening concurrently. But that being said, show was a letdown.
I hate to hear that. I am born and raised in Oakland, California, and that's how I feel about Oakland, California.
Yeah.
Um, I'm bummed that you didn't get to buy as many cards. The tops now, Mike Trout autos seem really lame. Bummed about hearing about those in general. You're someone's that's name I hear a lot this week. That was great grammar. Is Bryce Harper. Max, you are the owner of some of the nicest Bryce Harper cards in existence.
Yeah,
Have
you're
you seen any action on these? Have you sold any Bryce Harper cards? The dude rakes. I've had so many friends text me about Bryce Harper this week outside of the card world, just saying how cool they think he is, um, how much of a baller he is. Seems like the ideal like card selling conditions if there were ever such a thing. Uh,
Yeah, you're twisting the knife in my stomach right now. I had two blue Topps Chrome blue autographs, and One was in a Beckett 9.5 and one was in a PSA 10. It's a pop 10 in a PSA 10. And I used one in order to acquire I used the PSA 10 to acquire the Shohei Ohtani red ink. And look, on one stand, like I was saying that it was worth 2,500. We had to take it in at 2,200 trade value or whatever, or excuse me, not or whatever, but it's like you're going back and forth, and I'm like, dude, this card is worth 2,500. I know it's worth 2,500. I'm already paying over trade value on this Otani. Like, let me, just give me the 2,500. They were like, no, I love KK sports cards, but they were like, no. So having Bryce Harper go ballistic in the playoffs hurt on that a little bit. Just from, I knew I could have gotten more from the card, but on the same token, and in a friendly and in jest way, I am going to remind them, hey, remember that sick card I had that you guys were firm on 22 and 25 on? And I'm like, I was right. Just again, not related to them, but just a good life lesson in general. People like to do deals with people that they enjoy and that they deal with. And also when it feeds the food chain, if it's like, okay, if they eat on that card a little bit, that they know that they can come back to me and know that I can feed them further, even if it's a lateral move, even if it's whatever. So knowing that these negotiations are in good faith and that at the very least, if I'm saying I'm bullish on a card for good reason and it actually translates, then that's all the merrier. So I moved that about 2 weeks ago. I moved that, I think, the week before the Hofstra show, so a week and a half. And I sold at my local show, or excuse me, not a local show, but at a local Southwest Florida show that happens monthly. It's a little funny. I think I went to Philly that weekend. I went to Philly on that Friday and I spent about 7K. And I went to the Southwest Florida show, which I've been to a few times, and I dropped like 3,500 after coming in at noon and the show was closing at 2. Completely did not expect that. And one of my buys was that I had a Bryce Harper BGS 9.5. I robbed the guy. I got it for like $950. I sold it to a New York dealer I know who, again, I was just trying to make the quick play. I knew it could have gone a little bit more. I moved it for about 1,075. And since his playoff heroics, the card is that it now has a BGS 9.5 comp for 1,500.
Dude, I'm not talking about any of those cards. I'm talking about your
I know
auto.
what you're talking about. I know you're talking about the 2012 661 super short print sticker autograph. I knew that's what you were referring to.
We
But
talked about that card like 4 straight episodes, like a year ago.
yeah, and I still have both of them. And I don't care if I'm underwater or overwater on them. They're kind of cards that I just want to keep until I have a reason not to keep them or until the
Do you have
rares.
them listed? Are they listed on eBay?
I have it listed for like 4K. I have it listed for something obscene. The PSA 10 went on open auction for it once, and I like got bored and decided not to bid it up, and I really regret that. But wrapping up the Harper point, that hurt just because of the blue autograph point. Those hurt just because I knew he was going to go crazy in the playoffs, and it's like I'm talking to no, okay,
Oh, yeah, you knew he was
okay,
gonna
no,
go crazy
okay,
on the
so let me talk.
playoffs.
Okay, I didn't predict that he's going to go crazy in the playoffs, like to this extent, but we saw the same thing with the Phillies last year, and we know that Harper's market heats up in October when he does well. So no,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say I'm some sports betting savant, but if there were any player that I would have thought would have appreciated during playoffs, my pick would have been Harper. My pick would not have been Ronald Acuna, where the premium's already baked in, and then he lost. My premium would have always been the Phillies are a sleeper team.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fair.
Well, that being said, now time to reverse into the 661A autos. I think it's 661A. Whatever.
661, yeah, yeah. You're right.
Yeah, sick. I know ball. Yeah. I own 2 of them. It is Bryce Harper's true rookie is the equivalent of Ronald Acuna Jr.'s 2018 bat down. It is a short print variation in Topps Series 2 made in a limited quantity.
I don't think it's a variation, though. I think it's just an extra card in the checklist, right?
I agree, but it's a variation in the same way that bat down is a variation. Or maybe I'm incorrect and maybe it just ends at 660. So it's just an extension. It's like a base set short print.
I think it's that case. I
Yeah,
think it's a base set.
you're correct. Probably. I assume you're correct. I think I'm incorrect here. But In addition to those extremely short printed cards, they had hobby exclusive sticker autographs that were, I think, once every few hobby boxes, once every few cases, something like that. And I think last I checked, there's only about 40 graded in the PSA population. And I own two. I own a BGS 9 with a 10 autograph, which is really hard on Harper's early career autos, as well as a PSA 8, which I bought at the National 2 years ago. So it's always a card I'm interested in. I don't want to go underwater or crazy on cards. Like buying holds or investment pieces or cards I like is always difficult for me because I view it as an operating expense rather than as something that's going to make me more money. So I I lost $125 in internet blackjack at a, excuse me, not internet blackjack, at like video blackjack, whatever, like when you're at a bar and there's video blackjack. And I was like up $15 at first and I withdrew it. I'm like, oh, I'm a genius. And then I like the video dealer got blackjack thrice in a row. I'm like, okay, this is kind of rigged. I'm gonna put 50 more dollars in. But my
That's
point
so many
being,
burritos? How many burritos is that?
dude, that was half of my rent a car cost. But
Brutal.
but it was fun. But anyway, lead spending money on a personal expense is something that's fundamentally difficult for me just as a person.
Yeah.
So doing that on cards that I don't intend to move is difficult. That being said, I love the oddity of the card. I love that the card is relatively rare with probably maybe 100 copies that are in graded circulation or on the open market. They don't reach the open market on open auction often. And I'm a believer in extremely rare cards of superstars.
I just had to check in. I know it's been a card that we've talked about a lot.
And I don't want to leave you hanging.
Yes. I didn't know if you had sold one or what your plan is because I know that you have two. Um, I know that he's hot as hell. You obviously have the cards max, no offers open on that one, right?
Yeah. The PSA 10 ended so low a few months ago that my asking price is not going to be something that I want on it.
You mean no one's gonna want to pay your asking price on it?
Probably, yeah.
That's
But
fair.
and I also really regret not buying that PSA 10.
How much did the 10 go for? Do you remember?
Like $1,800.
Oh shit. Yeah,
Too
you
low.
fucked up. You
Too
fucked up.
low. It's the extended bidding, man, on PWCC. It's like you underestimate. You can underestimate it sometimes.
That's
Um
fair.
I have two
No,
cards
yeah.
in my hand that came back from grading that are in particularly cool cards that we've discussed a little bit on the podcast, but I have them in hand now.
You led me right into my next question, which was I know you sent me a screenshot of a fat PSA submission that you got back, and I want to know about it a little bit.
Yeah. First, the cards that are in hand. Tommy, you see this? My LeBron James Kaboom 2022 Crown Royale PSA 10, as well as the most unofficial official investment sports analysis advice we will ever have is that Tommy and I are in agreement that Benedict Mathurin is an absolute dog and that he's very good at basketball. And I'm holding a PSA 10 gold shimmer out of 10 from Prism. And yeah, these are two of the cards in my hands. I usually don't have the privilege of being like having grading successes of cards like this, especially not in like the basketball realm. But yeah, I honestly don't have much of a point. I'm just stoked to own them.
I'm hyped. I like that Kaboom LeBron because it's like his celebration after setting the NBA scoring record, right? So
Yeah, it is.
it adds a little bit of historical relevance to a kabooms that like I don't know.
What
Generally
do you
speaking, like I don't know, third, fourth year kabooms. I don't know if those are really going to be super relevant long term, but
what
that
do
one
you
has a little special spot.
what do you think of Steph Curry's in that set with him doing just like the sleeping pose? Yeah.
I'm pro night night celebration cards. I have one from the Road to the Finals set. It does seem like Panini made a bunch of them, so I'm not gonna like say I'm gonna collect them all. Um, but that
Agreed.
is like kind of an iconic thing for Steph during this like certain part of his career. So I like them curating the kabooms for like things that happened in the previous year. I think adds something to it.
Agree. Also, I told very few people this, but remember the Jackson Holiday Bowman Chrome Gold auto that I had?
Yeah.
So the people that I mean, this was like one of the biggest. I think, yeah, at the time it definitely was the biggest card that I bought specifically to raw to grade,
Yeah.
and I bought it as a PSA 9. I cracked it. I sent it to PSA again. It nined, so it's been a 9 twice now. Sent it to Beckett. Results came back. Subgrades are 10, 9.5, 9.59, and at BGS 9.5.
Is that an upgrade for value?
Oh, BGS 9.5 over PSA 9?
Yeah.
Oh, totally. This is
Wait, so
like,
you won big.
oh, I won big. It's not PSA 10 big, but I think I'm throwing this card at like a 10K OBO sticker price.
Oh shit. How much
Partly
did you buy it
because
for?
I bought it for 5K. Now,
Dude,
granted, like I'm fine revealing this because these are public comps. I was the last PSA 9 purchase at 5K, and
I
then
remember
since
you buying this because you were like, "This is the most I've ever spent on a card to raw or to like crack and
yeah,
resub."
and then I also had like a massive shitpost tweet of like, dude, I just found this in the dollar box, and then people were like, why are you lying to me? Why are you trying to deceive me in the comments? And that was like one of the biggest laughs I had.
Dude, people are fucking dumb, dude.
But since then, like a PSA 8 did like 4K and a BGS 8.5 gold wave did like 2.7. So like that makes me think that like a PSA 9 is worth like 5.5 to 6, and that like a PSA 10 is worth 15. So the 9.5 is going to be worth like 10-ish. That's at least like my rationale. So that's going to come in soon, and I'm like pumped for that.
That's sick. I kind of Max, I'm sorry to cut you off,
Okay.
but I bought so many cards on eBay this week that I want to talk about in Movie
Yes.
3. So many cards.
We have we have one last. I'll highlight the biggest other card that came
Yeah.
back. My order that I sent out immediately after the national popped today. Don't have the cards in hand yet. And one of the biggest alley oops turned not alley oops of cardboard history was Tommy finding a Wander Franco opening day short print sticker autograph of Wander Franco from 2021 Tops. It's a picture of him blowing the bubble gun. I mean, it's the bubble gum, and it's the sticker autograph. Those are serial number to 10. I paid about $250 for it in July, and then I sent it out to grading because it looked clean. Wander Franco put his things in places where he shouldn't have, literally and figuratively, sadly. And I'm not going to joke or make light of that situation at all. But financially, it tanked again, secondary and tertiary to what actually happened with Wander Franco. The card
Dude,
tanked.
you have brought up Wander Franco every episode, and every time you give the same little spiel about, hey, it's justified that his card value is going down. I don't approve of his actions, and I love it every time you give like a different little spiel, and it's like, all right, dude.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sometimes I don't know who's out trying to cancel me. I have to make sure that I'm very articulate. And hey, it's not a bad thing, you know.
No, not a bad thing.
No,
I just had to
Wander
point it
Franco's
out because
thing
I'm sure the
bad.
listeners are
Condemning
feeling the same.
condemning it, not good. No, condemning it good. Condemning it
Yes.
good. But anyways, glad you could listen to my spiel for that for this episode, which is justified. But the card did 10, which my grading eye was right on that one. Probably even with a tenning, like it, which is incredible. Like I got it at such a good deal. Even with that happening, I may still break even or only have like a marginal loss. But if that situation didn't happen, we probably would have been looking at like a $250 raw buy to like a $1,500 to $2,000 sticker price. So that's a
Yeah.
little bit painful.
That would have been sick. That would have been so sick.
Yeah, like I remember, I'm sitting on Tommy's air mattress, and we went to some chicken place or something like that. Just an I and me and Tommy's, banter when I'm at his apartment, or excuse me, home, not apartment, home.
It's
I'm
an
not warm.
apartment.
It's a home.
All right.
Long Island is my home, and I had some banana bread pudding, and I'm like, Tommy, this is all for you. It's like you're letting me stay, and Tom's like, no, dude, it's fine. I do for this for you, friend. I'm like, no, Tommy, you found me this wander. I'm gonna make money on it. You can eat like a king. Enjoy this banana bread pudding that I got from my chicken place order. And he's like, yeah, I did kind of make you some money there. I'll eat it. I'll own up to it.
And now, full circle, it's time for eBay buys of the week, Max.
Yes, it is, but that was a
I'm
valuable quote.
I'm fired up. You're gonna love my first one.
Okay.
Um, so obviously, if you listen to the Gaby Card Stacks episode, Bowman Chrome U's out now. Um, I have been hunting this Northwestern quarterback that's in the set, Brendan Sullivan. Um, a red shimmer out of 5 popped on eBay. It was $39.99 OBO. So I sent
Mhm.
it to Gabe. I'm like, Gabe, I really want this, like $39.99 OBO. Seems reasonable. I might throw out an offer here. Gabe goes, what he goes is, I'll send a $20 offer, so your $30 offer looks better. So I send a $30 offer. I screenshot the offer. I send it to him. I go, deal, do it. Send the $20 offer. Kid you not, Max. Within 5 minutes of us sending these offers, the guy takes my offer. I get the card, $30. Um, so shout out Gabe for the idea. I had
I'm
never
gonna
even
guess
thought about
you paid
doing.
$30 on that one. That's my guess.
You were gonna guess I was gonna spend $30 on it,
No, that's just my post hindsight guess.
but
Was
just
I
want to
right?
give a shout out to Gabe for hooking me up by doing this little kind of mini assist, sending a lower offer than my offer to make my offer look good. I thought that was kind of funny. And then I bought 2 other 2023 Prism draft picks, Northwestern football cards of the same guy, this running back, Evan Hull, who's on the Colts. I bought a purple out of 75 for $2.50 plus $1.50 shipping. And then I got a gold shimmer, which for some reason in Prism draft picks is out of 15 instead of out of 10. Beats me why that's the reasoning. I got it for 99 cents plus $5 shipping. So I got the gold shimmer out of 15, the purple that is really my premium Northwestern card parallel out of 75, all for a combined under $10 shipped, which was nice. Max, you're gonna like this one. I bought a 2008, and I want to hear what you think this card cost me. And when Alex kind of called me out, Saratoga Slabs, I buy a lot of cards on eBay for cheap, but I think I need to factor in the shipping dollars and just give you like a total amount dollars paid for a card. I think that's more accurate. Um, but I bought a 2008 Top Silk parallel out of 50. Troy Tulowitzki Gold Cup. Troy Tulowitzki, 2008. The Silk. I don't know if to call them parallels or inserts. I think they're parallels because they are like the
They're
flagship
framed,
design.
right?
Yeah, they're framed.
I'm gonna say $16.
Total $14.39. You kind
I'm
of nailed that.
close. I'm
You
close. I'm good at this.
you
It's
nailed
like
it.
part of it is like I try not to add what did Tommy get it, he got it at a price that would keep my jaw ajar. And yeah, I mean, I think my heart tells me that that is like a $30 card.
Yeah, I don't know. It was sitting on eBay for a while, so it was one of those ones that I've been watching and it's been going down from like I think originally like a $30 bin down and down and down.
Just out of curiosity, have you ever organically looked at cards that you wanted to buy and then have found a listing of mine?
No.
Yeah, I guess
I
I
look at
don't
your eBay store every once in a while though, just to make sure.
I don't think I do enough Warriors cards for me to organically search up in your algo.
Yeah.
'Cause I might be able to sneak in there with some Giants, but not enough
Yeah.
Tommy cards.
No, you deal with too much like it's either ultra modern, which is like Giants rookies that I don't really care about, except I am caring about Patrick Bailey a little bit, Casey Schmidt, because I think they're gonna be decent, or at least better than like fucking Joey Bart's bitch ass. Um, but I don't know. I was also so this weekend, Max, I went to a wedding with my girlfriend Abby.
You got
It was
married?
a fuck you. It was a family friend of Abby who I had met once. So
Okay, she got
I was the randomest person at this wedding. I made a joke that I was the least likely to get a shout out in any sort of speech at the wedding because I was the randomest person there. Um, but that led me to have like some kind of like down random time where I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna kind of like impulsively buy some cheap eBay cards that I've been watching for a while. One of those cards was a 2008 Topps Chrome Orange Refractor out of 499 Corey Maggette. Corey Maggette being a legend of the Warriors who Fun fact for you here, Max. Corey Maggette owns the record for most points scored in a game without a field goal. I think it's like almost 20. I think it's like 21 points, all from free throws, without scoring a bucket all game. So Corey Maggette is kind of a meme, but also he was pretty good. So I got the Orange Refractor 2008 Topps Chrome, which is like widely considered the best Topps Chrome year, I think. I got that for $3 plus $1 shipping. Excited to get that one in. I bought a 2013 Topps Bryce Harper Gold Cup Emerald foil. So I did post all my Bryce Harper Gold Cups. I bought this one after, or I guess technically before then. I got that for $10 plus $1 shipping. And then, I wish I had this card. I couldn't find it. Max, and before I say what card this is, does it ever happen for you, Max, that you buy a card on eBay and then it doesn't show up in your app on your purchases?
No,
You've never had that?
no.
I don't know. This card disappeared from my purchases. So I was like, maybe I got refunded or something and I didn't see it. But it just showed up in my mail one day. So I guess it's fine. This was, and Max, you probably already saw this card on eBay or on Twitter, but I bought a 2011 Topps American Pie Spotlight foil out of 76. The Pill Birth Control is Created 1960s card. Max, do you want to guess how much that cost me? Serial numbered out of 76. Pretty rare card.
I'm gonna say like $8.
It was brutal. I paid $20 for that card, and I
Okay.
stand by it. I stand by it.
No, I encourage you to spend $20 on that. I told you exactly where that card should be placed.
Exactly. Exactly. I think I sent you like a few weeks ago one of the Taylor Swift Kanye spotlights out of 76 sold for like $1,500 on auction, which is kind of nuts.
Mhm.
But
I sent you some cool cards and like in my texts that were just like, "Hey, these cards are dank."
what are some other ones that you saw that we've texted each other? These are not cards that we've purchased, obviously, just
Yeah,
ones that
no,
we've
I
seen.
sent you just like cards that I was looking at. I found like a Mac McClung gold scope out of 8 from Prism Chronicles. And Prism Chronicles is a little bit cooler because like you actually have better photos of the players. And gold scope, I don't think is parallel in traditional Prism. You just have the other colored scopes. So that was kind of cool. And I also found like a 2005 exquisite Nate Robinson massive RPA. I have to think this is one of the greatest Nate Robinson cards in existence. It's on eBay auction as we speak and is ending tonight, and it's presently at $150. Great patch, great autograph, cool card, but I'm not spending $150 on Nate Robinson.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, the exquisite patch autos of like rookie patch autos, though, like that is the primo anything. Like you can get solid money for even like random, not random. I mean, obviously Nate Robinson is
Nate
random if
Robinson
you're
does
like
have
a
like
10-year-old.
a cult, figure to it, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Nate Robinson is 2 inches taller than me.
Nate Robinson's a fucking legend and was on the Warriors for half a season. So shout out him.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done with my eBay buys, Max. But last week I forgot to talk about some flips because I actually sold some cards. One card that I sold.
Calm C.
This was a huge flip for me. Last year, I bought a bunch of Topps gold rookie cards of basketball guys, like normal flagship paper golds. One I bought was a 2009 Topps gold Drew Holiday out of 2009. I bought it for $14.25. I sold it 2 days ago for $26.60. That's almost a 100% profit on a card. Let's fucking go. Shout out Celtics fans. That was a fun one. And then I finally listed my Ron DeSantis card that I talked about like 2 months ago. So I'm hoping that someone bins that one. We'll see TBD. But that's all I got, Max. I'm gassed. I'm fucking tired, dude. Today, for an event for work, I went to this like electric vehicle conference because my company I work for uses like all electric vehicles. JB Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, was there. I got a nice photo op with him. He posted it on his Instagram. Me, my boss, and JB Pritzker in front of our van. That was pretty fun. I want to check in on your Tinder dates after you say what you bought on eBay this week, Max.
So I've had a no dates to update you on, sadly. So eBay buys only 3 this week. Nothing too crazy or too interesting. Two of them were Nikola Jokic red, white, and blue prisms from 2015 Prism rookies. One was a BGS 9 with relatively strong subs, and one was a PSA 9. And I think it's a card with like a 23% gem rate, so not high. But the BGS 9 was 0.5 away from a 9.5, and the PSA 9 just looks clean. So I bought those because you never know what's going to happen, and cards are fun. And I also bought a 2016 select Patrick Mahomes XRC PSA 9. You know how this game goes. I'm just trying to have some fun. I'm just trying to mess around and be a little silly and have some fun. So those cards will be cracked. Hopefully, if they're in good enough condition to be cracked, they'll be cracked. I guess to highlight, there's one. I had some recent eBay sales that I think you'll find interesting. I got a nice picture of them before I sent out. It was just like it was 6 cards. I guess one of them doesn't belong out of the others because it was worth much less and wasn't a 4-figure card. But I'm shipped all of these today after coming back from the Hofstra show. I shipped the aforementioned 1953 Tops PSA 1 Mickey Mantle. I shipped a PSA 10 Josh Giddey Downtown. I shipped a 1956 Tops PSA 5 Mickey Mantle. Shipped a 2016 Triple Threads Bryce Harper 1 of 1 relic. I shipped a 2023 Victor Wembanyama, or however you pronounce his name, Bowman University auto, and a 2022 Contenders Optic Gold autograph out of 10 of Stephen Curry. So that was in my outgoing mail today. Really,
Wait, you don't can you
yeah,
sold these already. Tell me how much they
yeah.
sold
Okay,
for.
cool. I don't want to talk about myself. It's my podcast, but I want to, you got to tickle it out of me. All right. I guess I'll say the card and you guess the price. No, okay.
Just
The job.
just tell me what they sold for, and I'll tell you which one is the most shocking.
Okay. 53 Mantle, 2,500. That was mentioned already. Giddy, PSA 10, 2,200. 56 Tops Mantle, PSA 5, 2,400. Bryce Harper, Triple Threads 1 of 1. Relic, non auto, $165. Victor Wembanyama, Bowman University auto, 1,000. Stephen Curry, Gold Contenders ticket auto out of 10, 2,000.
I would say the Steph for 2K is pretty surprising. Is that on card?
On card.
Okay, that makes sense.
And
I
gold.
I think, Max, I'd like to monitor the Victor Wembanyama Bowman Chrome Auto, just long term, see what the value changes on it. I am personally super excited to watch Victor Wembanyama play basketball in the NBA. Honestly, the card world has kind of poo-pooed my excitement for young guys because I'm like, oh, this is ridiculous. He shouldn't be getting this much money spent on his cards. But then I'm like, nah, this is amazing. I'm so hyped to see this 7'5" freak French dude play. His highlights from preseason are nuts, so I'm excited to see that. You bought those from Jason, right? You bought like a lot from our boy Jason.
I bought the Victor Wembanyama autograph from Jason. Of course, it wasn't gradable because what would you expect from that guy? No, I'm half
Yeah,
dead.
that motherfucker.
But it
Well,
was
Max,
been, but like again, it was part of it is just about doing the work. I mean, I know Jason again. I love Jason. Jason does the work in a lot of other things, but he is someone that's adamant in saying that he isn't going to milk every penny. And like, if I put the Wemby on social media, I probably would have gotten like negative bites. And I sold it on eBay, and it was binned at 1,000. And it's funny that you mentioned Wembanyama and how the real life hype correlates to card world hype. And something that I think is useful as an indicator of the market is the multiplier from PSA or from raw to PSA 10. And usually, I'd say on most Tops cards and even most Prism cards, it's about 2.5 raw for a PSA 10. And the Wembanyamas do about, I think, $800 to $1,000 raw, and the PSA 10s do 1,500. So that's really indicating that it's a small, almost non-existent premium placed on PSA 10 Bowman U Victor Wembanyama autos, which, in my opinion, indicates an unhealthy market of people that actually want to buy the PSA 10s.
yeah, I agree. But I'm exhausted, Max. I'm going to bed. Uh, what do you got? What do you got to say to people? at the end here. This was a fun one. I'm glad that we got to catch up a little bit. Um, give the people what they want with our eBay buys. I really went crazy on eBay, so I was excited to talk about some of those cards. Um, what do you got to say though?
Congratulations to the newlyweds of Tommy and Abby Vaughn.
Fuck you, dude.